Hello, welcome to another episode on the channel Living the Dream Tom. Tom's the cat, if you haven't already seen him in the previous videos. And if you're not someone who's already liked and subscribed to the channel, I'm hoping after this you may go and look at some other videos and see that it's a new channel and it's all about low impact, low cost, eco, off-grid living. I've been doing this now for 15 years here, but really looking at it as a way to making and producing a new volume of a book to support this channel. This episode is filmed in the cabin, and I'm hoping that I've got some lights, little spotlights, they're all LEDs. Everything is off grid, no grid, really small, minimal way of living. But to support that, and something that during the lockdown I developed almost by necessity, to a full, almost full self-sufficient vegetable garden, forest garden, orchard. That's all of the fruit bushes as well, black currants, gooseberries. In the orchard I've got plums, apples, cherries, everything basically I could think of doing. And a lot of those trees I've grafted myself from the initial stock that I bought, 1 or 2 trees. And that's what it's all about, that permaculture way that once you've got a start, that you can carry on. But I want to talk to you today about the seeds that I've just bought. Most of these are from Lidl's, the supermarket. They do a good variety of seeds down there. They're pretty inexpensive. I know you can get all of your seeds online. My cousin likes to use, shout out to Phil, Premier Seeds Direct, and I've used those before. But if you're like me and you like shopping, you like browsing, I like them. They're in nice packets. For someone like me who's dyslexic, nice, big, easy to see what the variety is. Big printed labels on there about what the varieties are. And they do a pretty good range of both flowers and vegetables. The rest of them have been bought by local seed suppliers, garden centres, etc. They don't do all of the varieties in Lidl's that I like, and I'll show you in a second what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to the onions. But anyway, what did we buy? First ones out of the packet are not from Lidl's. They're from a company called Bartlett's. Onions, first of all. The onions, and I'll bring them up to the camera for you. This is, I know this one, hopefully you can see that. Right, Bedfordshire Champion onion, reliable, good seed, okay? And yeah, they don't do these in Lidl's. In Lidl's, all they've got is the Sturton Giants. Anyway, I'll get back to the Lidl seeds in a minute. So yeah, really good onions. Sown from seed now, that's why I want to put this up. Although the weather's been bad and I've got loads of ideas and I want to post loads of videos and get loads of footage done, I can't because the weather's been bad, and that's why hopefully I wanted to film this outside with the bird music. But yeah, I've been beaten back in again by the rain, and if I don't get on with it, it's going to be like people who do those diets where, yeah, if I don't do what I'm going to say on Monday or by January for you, so you can see what to sow in January and get this out live on the channel straight away tonight, hopefully. Bedfordshire Champion, get them in about now, January to February. I'm going to sow those as seeds in pots. I've already got some up above the wood burner up there, and they're just a little thin covering, and they're just in little 10-inch pots. So they're a bit like, I don't know if anyone's ever grown leeks, but they're a bit like similar to growing leeks. You grow them off as seedlings, they'll get to about that big, I suppose. Green stems in a couple of months, hopefully. And then we go out and put like, I use like a pencil or something, and you put a hole down and then drop them in. That's how you grow them from seed. But they're encouraged for you to start them early. And I think that's why Lidl's do the other variety, the Sturton Giants, because even if they don't get giant, you still get a reasonable size onion. But I found this variety very reliable last year. So Bedfordshire Champions for the onions. Moving on next from what I've got from Bartlett's. Bring that up there. Hopefully you can see that with the light now. And that's a cabbage. It's a new one to me. I haven't got my glasses on, so I should have my glasses on for it. And it's Offham 2, Flower of Spring. Okay, new one to me. Looks like one of those sort of hot, not round cabbages, shall we say, one of those sort of dome cabbages. And I read the label the other day, and it said that it can be grown soon now, round about nowish time. Possibly I'll wait a little bit into February, and you can harvest those either then and then sow them again later on in the autumn. Autumn for spring greens, I think it said, and now for winter greens. And that's something I've spoken about before. Easy to feed off of the garden in spring and summer and possibly autumn, but going into winter, that's when I really wanted some greens in the garden. And I had veg. I've still got a few greens. They've been hit by the frost now, and if I'd have covered them with agricultural fleece, they'd have probably lasted longer. But I was picking greens right up until a few weeks ago. Kale, dwarf kale, bring that up. Dwarf kale, I've got an exposed site up there. If you haven't seen the garden already, quite exposed. And I found that the taller varieties of kale, they do suffer in the wind. So if you've got a smaller garden as well, or growing in containers at home, or you've got an exposed site with lots of wind, the dwarf kale, and that's one of the vegetables I was talking about that is still up there now that we could still pick off. So really good variety and a good veg to go in the garden. What else have we bought? These are all from Lidl's. And the one thing I like about the Lidl's packets, they're kind of in that little sort of foil mylar. You don't want to get them wet. And we'll talk about seed storage now. Okay, what have we got out of here? Parsley, first of all, and that's a curly variety of parsley. So even if they're in sort of foil packets, they want to be in a biscuit tin. I like to use an old metal biscuit tin. So if you put them in the greenhouse, and you quite often, I've been out there this time of year, take your seeds out to the greenhouse or the polytunnel, leave them out there inadvertently, phone rings, something happens, you have a drama, whatever. But if they're in a biscuit tin or an old cake tin, something that's metal, that keeps the rodents obviously from getting in there and keeps the damp out. Anyway, parsley, curly varieties, there's loads of varieties. What variety have we got here? Oral. All right, I'm going to give up pronouncing the varieties because a lot of them I can't pronounce, so I'll bring that up to the packet camera anyway, in case I just forgot to do that. Sorry if I've done that twice. So parsley, what's parsley good for? Loads of different things. Got loads of calcium in, but good for the new kitchen herb garden. So I've got some growing up in the veg garden. I don't want to transplant those and damage the roots, so we're going to grow all of our culinary kitchen herbs for the new kitchen herb garden. It's made from the pallets from the old gypsy bender, and we've made a raised bed outside the cabin. You've probably seen that already if you've watched previous videos. If you haven't, I'd take this opportunity again to say please like, subscribe and share. This is going to become a full-on, not just with the cookery as well and other bits and pieces, it's going to become a full-on guide to eco, off-grid, low-cost, modern, self-sufficient living. Okay, and that's going to be something that's going to be possibly more important going into the future as the climate changes dramatically and we have to adapt more to a way of life that we probably used to live. So herbs, very important, and when we're talking about herbs, when I'm cooking with them, I'm going to talk more about how they're beneficial, not just for your digestion, for the benefit of preserving the dish, possibly antiseptic sort of qualities. We'll talk all about that as we're using them. Marjoram, really, really great herb. So we'll grow a little bit of this in the raised bed because we obviously want everything there. But it's one of those things that when it comes to seed, I'd definitely be taking the seeds out or chopping it so it doesn't spread. Yeah, something that's amazing if you do want something, a nice herb to cover sort of bare patches of the garden, then marjoram's good. I'll bring that up to the camera again so you can see the variety. Right, lettuce next out, and if I bring it straight up to the camera first of all, and then I won't forget it, I'll try and get in that routine. Okay, what's this lettuce? I said I'm not going to pronounce them. There's no way if anyone else can pronounce that. But that's a curly, kind of, not too curly, but a red blushed lettuce. I can see, and that's what I like about these Lidl's packets. If you're someone like me that's dyslexic and hates reading and writing, and the only reason I can do this channel now is not just because I know what I'm talking about now, is because of AI, because it can write all the descriptions for me. Lettuce, do we need to talk about lettuce anymore? Different varieties of lettuce suit different climates, but we'll see how that one fares at the end of the year. And I don't generally look too hard. I generally try and buy one green one and one sort of red one, but you get thousands of seeds and there's something at the end of the year. We'll try and collect as again of seeds of everything. We'll try and collect the seeds of everything, but definitely some lettuce be easy. Next up, Basil. A lot of people are familiar with basil. Basil, and especially growing. So we think of basil and tomato and feta cheese possibly. So I'm imagining that dish goes together, and what goes well on the plate together grows well together. So we'll be growing some basil next to some tomatoes, hopefully. But yeah, definitely good for the digestion system. I think you have it, it's really refreshing. But anyway, that's the basil. It's going to go in the herb garden. Next up, beetroot. Take it up there so you can see the variety. Hopefully I've got that right. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it right. Stop trying to pronounce the names. Anyway, they're a round one. Looks like a tennis ball. I can see from the packet. Okay. Beetroot, good for cleansing the blood. I know that. But anyway, carrot. And I'll do 2 varieties of carrot I've learned in the past. I'm going to do an early harvest one and a late harvest one. So that'll be kind of a summer harvest one. Maybe we'll pull those up small and we'll sow those quite densely. So they're like bunch carrots. And then this one, which looks like a longer, thicker variety, just maybe a later one, like what they, sometimes you get a variety called Autumn King. But let's say, yeah, late ripening. I can just about read that without my glasses on. So that's that one. Did I bring it up to the camera? Oh, God, I'm losing myself. Sorry. There you go. And there's the next one. And I know that's a sort of Nantes 2. Anyway, I'll bring it up to the camera. But that's definitely more of an early variety. Okay. So carrots, what have I learned about carrots in the past? Like a really well drained, not heavily fertilised that year soil. Okay. Next up, dill. Dill and carrots. Anyway, take that there for the variety. But I think pretty much any variety of dill would be okay. But what have I learnt about dill? I've never managed to grow it before until my cousin Phil, shout out to Phil again, told me, that some seeds, they like, I think it's UV. They're UV activated to germinate. So they'll sort of disperse their seed and just sprinkle on the ground underneath the seed in the wild, underneath the plant in the wild. They'll sprinkle their seeds and let their seeds drop. And dill likes that. You see it growing out of cracks and sort of stones and gravelly stuff. And I imagine that's where it's got wet and then maybe had the sunlight on. Anyway, I don't bury my dill seeds anymore is what I'm trying to say. Scatter them just on the soil, water them in, easy. Collect the seed at the end of the year. We're going to use it fresh. Dill, yoghurt, mackerel. Hopefully we'll catch some mackerel. And that's something I'm going to be showing on this channel. Not just what I've grown and what I do around the cabin and on my land. Also, I'm a professional forager and fisherman, and we'll be doing a lot on wild food as well. But bringing that back, cooking it on the outdoor cooker, which is on one of the previous episodes, the build of that. Yeah, and I want all of my culinary herbs there. So yeah, dill, yogurt, definitely with smoked mackerel. Next, but definitely something I've done really well with last year is broccoli, and it was probably this variety. Twice I grew it last year. Once I sowed in spring, and then because I had some more room in the garden and I had some more seeds left, and it said you could sow it later on as well, I sowed some I think it was about July, and I was harvesting that right up till September, and I love broccoli. Anyway, number 4 packet. I don't know if that was more expensive. Anyway, lettuce. 3 mixed varieties, and that's what I say for a beginner and for someone with small space. Just get a packet like that. You'll definitely be able to grow some lettuce in a windowsill, most definitely. And even if you just grow one vegetable or one herb, it's a start, and it's inspirational, and it's something to do with connecting and being, I don't know, just, yeah, what am I trying to say? It's great, isn't it? Right, pumpkin, Big Macs, I know that, because I can remember the variety. And I've never done very well with pumpkins on this site here. Tried to grow them for about 7 years on the trot, but last year wasn't too bad. And I'm learning, it's not just because it's the right type, the wrong place to grow them. It's all to do, you have to improvise, adapt and overcome. And gardening is all about your garden, your situation, how much water you've got, how much water you haven't got, the soil content, the orientation to the sun, etc. Okay, but the Big Macs, so if you only want to grow, you've got room to only grow one type of pumpkin and you don't want something that's going to take over the whole garden but grow big fruit, and something especially is going to be great for the kids if you want to carve them at Halloween, I can recommend Big Macs. Cucumbers, I can see there's 2 varieties here. Straight away I can see just from the packet again that this is the longer variety. Okay, bring that up to the camera. So indoor outdoor variety, I can't even, my glasses, especially as I'm looking at the camera, maybe the light, I need to put my glasses on. Maybe I'll put them on for the next video or have them on ready to read for this. I've got to that stage now, I'm trying to hold back from it. I'm nearly 55 now. There you go. So trying to hold back from it, and it's only doing stuff up close. I'm okay with anything further than arm's length, so trying not to. But anyway, brought them up to the camera. Hopefully you'll see that, and that worked. I really hope that's worked all the way through this video. So 2 types of cucumbers, and there's the other variety, and that's the sort of small prickly variety, shall we say. Can't even read it again, but just go for 2 varieties, a long smooth thin one, shall we say, and the smaller prickly ones, shall we say. The smaller prickly ones are good if you want to do your gherkins and you're into your burgers and you want that sort of McDonald's gherkin. That's that type, okay? But that long variety, that's more the type you're going to see in the shops, especially in the summer, for people to use for salads, etc. I pickle them. I've got some out there pickled now. I haven't actually opened them, I don't think, this year. But maybe one of the recipes, yeah, I'll do a burger out on the outdoor fire when it stops raining, when it stops being freezing cold. And I'll get out there and I'll do a homemade burger, and I'll show you some of the pickles that I preserved from last year. But that's why I grow cucumbers, not just for the long varieties during summer, but definitely to store through winter and have with your burgers and what have you. Broccoli, again, got 2 packets. Sometimes I get 2 packets if it's something that I know I've grown before successfully. Or, like I said with the broccoli, I probably bought 2 packets of those because I'm going to sow them twice. And there's not that many seeds in that one, I can tell. Another pack of onions I bought 2 packets of. Definitely really loved these last year. And this is a pickling variety. You can eat it fresh, and the tops were amazing in early. When I cut these to pickle them, I cut the tops off green, and personally they make the most amazing flavour in a kind of like stir fry or any type of Asian dishes, those onion tops, green onion tops. But I can almost remember the variety name from that. I'll just have a quick look and see if I can remember it. Something, yeah, like the Bartletts or something. But they're in my opinion, they were better than a spring onion, and they were somewhere between a spring onion and a big onion. And I think they're recommended for pickling, and maybe, I don't know, an Italian sort of variety. But definitely loved those last year. And out there with the pickled cabbage from last year, and I'm saying the pickled gherkins from last year, is a whole jar of pickled onions. And when we're going to have those, in spring, when we make a pork pie or something, or some brawn. It's getting hard to get the pig's heads off the butcher now. I do get loads of other bones off the butcher, but yeah, we'll do something, maybe a pate, and then we'll get the spring onions out later on. And is that it? I've got some other seeds. Next video we do on seeds, I'll show you the seeds I saved from last year, and also some other stuff that I've bought. What else have I bought? We'll get onto that in a little bit. Spinach. That's the last one out of the bag there that I bought this year. Hopefully you can see that. Spinach, going to sow this several times throughout the year. I'm going to sow this really soon and have it in the windowsill and get that out whenever it's warm, and try and get that just pick it like quite young. Then we'll do it again in later spring, and then we'll do it again in summer. But one thing I've noticed about spinach, it definitely likes plenty of sunshine, but also wants to be quite warm to germinate it, but it wants a stable moisture content as well. It's no good putting this out and then forgetting to water it. It just goes to seed. But anyway, there you go. That's what I bought the other day. That's some of the main culprit, shall we say. The only other thing I've bought the other day is some onion sets, and I'll talk about those when we talk about saving bulbs and seeds from last year. And that'll include runner beans, French beans and peas. And I'll tell you how I save those and then how we're going to grow those. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll take this opportunity again to thank you for subscribing, liking and commenting, for all those people who have already. And if you haven't, please get on and do that now. If you can, it would make a massive amount of difference. I suppose you've already now watched loads of other people who've done this for years now and made a real success of their channels. I expect they said it a lot at the beginning, like me. It means a lot at the start for you to ask questions about what you want to see, how we can improve the channel and other stuff. So yeah, one guy on the last video, we were talking about the bullfinches eating all the apple buds, and he said, yeah, I'd love to see more about the bullfinches. So I've just filmed earlier, I'll put on another video, just the bird table, and then I'm going to go and show you the owl boxes and the woodpecker boxes and all the other stuff that surrounds me, all the rest of nature. But anyway, thanks for watching for now. At the end's a link to my Patreon and buy me a coffee, and Tom, he'll get a bag of Dreamies. And if you want to support the channel that way, it'd be much appreciated. Take care for now. Hopefully I've inspired you a little bit to go out and start growing vegetables if you haven't already, even if it's just that one thing. And just think, what's your favourite vegetable? Or within a restricted area and you want to just grow something on the kitchen sideboard, just think, what's your favourite herb? Thanks for watching. Take care for now.